name is Judy Burgess and I work with school governors. Today I'm going to be looking at two programmes in the secondary zone. Both are about hot topics. The first is about inclusion and the second about vocational education in the 14 to 19 agenda. I'm really interested to see how useful they might be for these secondary school governors from Bristol and North Somerset. So let's meet the governors.
My name's Hannah Endicott and I'm a staff governor at Hengrove Community Arts College on the south side of Bristol.
I'm Anthea James and I'm staff governor also. I'm in Whitfield Fishponds Community School in Bristol.
My name's Jackie Ramplin. I'm an LEA governor at Backwell Comprehensive School, although I'm also a parent of two children at the school.
My name's Guy Keith Miller. I'm a LEA governor at Speedwell Technology College. There's about 1,000 students on roll.
The first programme is about inclusion and exclusion. It's set in a London secondary school. I've downloaded the programme from the Teachers TV website. The programme looks at 3 strategies that the school is adopting to reduce exclusion rates.
One example:
get-out cards, pastoral support plans, PSPs, and sessions like this one on anger management.
Now remember how we started the other sessions where you wrote down a quick situation for me, something that happened in this week that went really well or something that didn't go so well. It may have been something in a lesson, it may have been something that happened in break time or lunchtime, it may have been something that happened this morning before you came here. And try and think about what you felt when that happened.
Ricky, who's now in Year 8, was excluded from his primary school.
I mean, just what I'd like to ask Ricky is, do you think the PSP has been a major part to help you succeed at Preston Manor?
To me, it's like a warning. If I do something bad, then I thought that I would have been expelled and I couldn't come back to the school.
Ricky's been on the plan for around 18 months, and it's finally bearing fruit.
Ricky's pastoral support plan, in my opinion, worked very well. Everybody working together. And a copy of his targets, you know, Mum actually had a copy of his targets posted around the house, one in his bedroom, one on the fridge, so that he was constantly being reminded of his targets.
I think the issue of inclusion of students balanced against exclusion has been a hot topic now for some years. And first of all, I just wanted to ask you what you know your school might be doing. We watched the programme, we saw a good example of what one school is doing and some of the strategies they've got. It's going to be really interesting as we've got inner city schools and we've got rural schools to hear the two perspectives on it.
Our school has got very similar to what we saw on the programme. We've got bolt cards for children who do tend to blow up, so they have got the kind of the get out if they need to. We've also got really structured pastoral support plans in place for those pupils who require it. Lots of lessons where they can go and we've got like a student skills base, so they can go there, they can have some time out to calm down, chat about what's happened in a safe environment.
We have, again, very similar strategies. We have mentors who actually will see children on an individual basis. We have peer groups of children who are available on a lunchtime that they can go and talk to, and it can be about anything at all.
Attendance increasing means learning is increasing, so you know all these strategies affect the way the children's learning and the improvement of standards. Guy?
We have a fairly large guidance support team that work very, very hard to get to know individual students and their particular needs. We have very similar things to what was on the video in terms of the pastoral support plan and the get out card.
Hannah?
Well, my role as a head of year means that on a day-to-day basis I'm dealing with a lot of the strategies that we saw in the film, and similarly with the other inner city schools, we use a lot of those strategies that were detailed there, from time-out cards to PSPs. Our biggest innovation, I suppose, in managing both inclusion and exclusion has been the development of an iceberg room where students can be internally excluded, obviously helping with the exclusion figures, but also helping us to have conversations about the reasons why they're there. And often, especially with a lot of the students that we deal with, it's about their reactions, as we saw on the film. Anger management plays a large role.
I've begun to see the value of obviously having the data, but then being able to set up as part of a monitoring process a case study or two without a name. It brings it down actually to how we've helped individual children, and I think that's really fulfilling as a governor, especially with the issues of Every Child Matters, that we have that information.
Having the case studies would be fantastic, because as a governor you do seem very detached about seeing the individual students.
Yes.
And we always just tend to see those that sit on exclusion panels would only see when it gets to the absolute final straw almost, and you just see all the negatives all the time. Okay, we do see stats on a piece of paper, but of course that needs to come to life, so it would be nice to see the positive case studies as well, so it's something that we certainly might adopt.
Looking at the strategies that the schools were using in that programme, and that they were actually working. So even though the strategies are in place with us now, we're on that journey then. We haven't got to that place yet, but we can see the end result from that programme.
We'll close that discussion and we'll go back and watch the second programme, which is pushing beyond the curriculum. We're going to be looking at the 14 to 19 agenda there, which is very interesting. This programme is taken from a strand called Vacation, Vacation, Vacation. It's about a scheme at a school in Shropshire where children can choose to mix an academic curriculum with vocational courses outside the school, such as gamekeeping and horse management.
I just didn't get on in the lessons, I just didn't like it. It was boring. And
was there any subject which you hated more than most?
History and RE, because I think it's pointless learning it. I'm not really going to use it.
I still think in terms of a comprehensive school needing a comprehensive curriculum, and therefore everybody talks about valuing everyone's education equally, but I've always believed that it's not enough to say that, you've actually got to do something about it.
50% of the young people perhaps are not well served by the traditional curriculum. Now arguably 50% of the resource should be directed to their curriculum needs. Now producing that sort of shift is a big cultural change.
Grove School has proved that introducing a broad range of vocational education does not turn your school into something regarded as a secondary modern. This sixth former made do with an MVQ level 2 in horse management and 12 GCSEs.
I did most of my portfolio in my own time and everything, and then all my practical work went into when I came down for my 4 hours after school. The school allowed me to take it outside of my school time, else I would have probably chosen GCSEs over the vocational subjects.
So that was a very different programme we've just watched about the 14 to 19 agenda, the initiative, the whole change of climate actually to allow young people to pursue a course of study in the style they're used to, and to see them they're motivated and enjoy their learning.
Well, it's a very exciting time to be a governor, I think, at the moment with the new 14 to 19 strategy that's come in. One of the things we are looking at federating with 6 other schools in our area, which are 5 other secondary schools and a special school. And we're exploring avenues there whereby subjects that are not on offer in our school could be accessed through other schools. We set up a working party of staff, senior management and me as a governor to look at our existing curriculum and look at ways of broadening that curriculum, offering more vocational courses.
Students who take this experience this variety of choice own their learning better because they've got out of school, a lot of them, and met adults in the workplace and have shone and are very fulfilled, come back into school and are more motivated when it comes to their core subjects.
As a governor and as a teaching member of staff, I've experienced the positive side of work-based learning, definitely. And actually, even those students who don't necessarily come back to school on a regular basis to complete other core subjects, those that are accessing key skills and vocational learning off-site, very much their behaviour is entirely different from, yes, and you know, referring to inclusion as well, actually, it's a really important point to make that the 14 to 19 curriculum not only needs to support academic needs, but also behavioural needs and requirements of an individual student.
The programme illustrates how the largest local employer is involved in the initiative by coming into the school to help support teaching.
I think it's about just maintaining that link and sort of trying to develop a sort of real life understanding of what industry is like, you know, warts and all. We are a big employer in the area, and we're very closely linked in with the market drayton area as well. So, you know, it's a two-way sort of partnership thing, you know, we both rely on each other really.
I found that interesting, but what do these governors make of it?
We actually have an employer on site as part of our full service extended school status. We have a nursery that's based on site, and they're currently in the process of being both Ofsted's checked and improved, and health and safety as well. So that's one way that we will look at providing students with work-based learning by having that sort of full service extended school provision working for us and for the students as well.
We have a couple of pupils that go out to primary schools, and they teach classes in primary schools, things like football or basketball skills. We've also got members of the Army come in and do a skills force lesson with certain individuals in Year 11 as well, and they seem to really, really enjoy that.
If you look at the Teachers TV programme, there are students on there saying that their attitudes are better themselves, and I think that's the key. Really, that response, as well as the data, is the key, not only for Ofsted, but for parents.
On that, I think, as much as I support students going out of the classroom and getting this experience, because I have heard that is the case, I think it's very important that we do make sure that as many students do get the core subjects, because to enable them to go on to further education, higher education, because you are cutting off that possibility potentially if you don't try and equip as many students on getting that double science, for example. You know, we are in a situation where A-levels are considered to be the gold standard, the better qualification than vocational qualifications, and I can't see it sort of moving away from that.
And the irony is at the moment the 14 to 19 curriculum is opening up avenues for students in that age range between 14 to 19, but actually ironically closing doors to education beyond 19 because of the perception that universities and schools and the public have about A-levels versus vocational qualifications, and that's a huge piece of work that governors have a real role in terms of ensuring the public and the communities around the schools that the vocational education is not a lesser qualification or standard.
So we've really had a quite an interesting discussion now about what the 14 to 19 is. We've had a look at the programme where it's, you know, one school's work. So thinking about the programme now, what do you think you might take back to school?
It might be very useful to actually invite some students into our governing body meeting to actually talk directly to us about their experiences of things like the vocational courses and that, to hear from our students, not just from the staff, how they feel.
I think the practice you shared is you know, it's going to be a good idea. It's just too good to keep to yourself, and to be able to collate it in some way to show the Ofsted inspectors.
It's interesting to see how that school has managed provide education then for that 14 to 19, how they've implemented it. You know, it's interesting. That's a way we could go then, you know, have a look and see if we can come up with a similar idea.
For me, the shared experiences that we've discussed here, the fact that even though we are from different demographics in some ways, that actually there are lots of things that are consistently causing a problem or consistently successful amongst governing bodies, and that maybe nationally there needs to be some work on that, as well as individually amongst schools in local areas.
Well, thanks for that. I've really appreciated listening to what you have to say. And don't forget, you can download this programme and any of the others available from the Teachers TV website. I hope you found this programme useful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.